Good afternoon or good morning, everyone, depending what part of the country you're listening to us from. My name is John, one of the trainers at Agentbox. On screen as well, part of the panel today is Eduarda and Alex. So during the training, if you guys do have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat, and Alex or Eduarda will answer that for you. It's almost 2 o'clock, just giving everyone enough time to jump on. I know we've got a fair few people online already, so welcome everyone. I know I can see some of the names. I have trained some of you guys before, so welcome. Just give everyone some time to jump on. During this training as well, guys, if you feel free to actually open the app and use your phones during the training if you want to, so you can follow along on the app. Do not hesitate to do so. Give it another 60 seconds and then we'll kick off at 2 o'clock. Okay, I can see Alex is jumping on as well. All right, guys, it is 2 o'clock sharp, so we will kick off. So as you can see, as I mentioned, we are covering prospecting with the Agentbox app today. So what we're going to look at is introduction to and setup to the app. So looking into the app, setting it up, managing tasks on the app as well. And most importantly, how to win listings through on-the-go prospecting using the Agentbox app. So that's what we're going to cover today. Before we do so, I'm just going to put up a quick poll. I'll get you guys to answer the poll for us. I'm just going to throw the poll up on screen. Just want to see your app usage and how you guys use the app. So poll should be coming up on your screen. Give you guys about 60 seconds. Go in there, answer the poll. Let me know if you have any questions as well. I can see everyone's going in there. Yep, we've got a fair few people so far. Give you a little bit more time. Okay, guys, I'm going to end the poll. Let's see our results. I'm going to end the poll. Just have a look at our results. So as we can see, a fair few of you use it for your everyday activities, which is really cool. Some of you just use it for open homes and private inspections. Some of you haven't even downloaded the app, and some of you didn't know Agentbox had an app, which is fair. That's cool. And then down, have you ever run an appraisal walkthrough with the app? Yeah, use it all the time. That's cool. I've tried, but don't really know what I'm doing. That's fine. We are going to cover that today. I didn't know we can do it using the app. We definitely can. We definitely can run an appraisal using the app, and we are going to cover that together as well. All right, guys. Let's jump into it. Let's get into the app. During the training, guys, again, during this webinar, if you do have any questions, just put it in the chat. Eduarda and Alex will answer your questions as I'm going through. So if you do have any questions, feel free to throw it in the chat and they'll answer it as well. For those that have come late, during the app session, if you do want to follow along on your phones, you're more than welcome to do so. So pull out your phones, happy for you guys to follow along. And if you do have any questions while you're doing that, just throw it in the chat as well, guys. Okay, just opening up my app on screen. Before we do kick off though, I know some of you mentioned that you haven't downloaded the app or didn't know we have an app. Go in there and do download the app. So if you're an Apple user, you have an iPhone, go to the App Store, go to the Apple App Store. If you're an Android user, go into Google Play and download it from Google Play. It's just called Agentbox app. Once you download the app, it's going to ask you for your subdomain, which is your Agentbox URL at the top left side of your screen when you look at your desktop. So you're going to put that in there. The login details are exactly the same as your desktop. So your email address as well as your password would be exactly the same. Once you're logged in, you're going to see what you can see on screen right now for me. So you can see this little home screen. You can see this little magnifying glass, which is our search screen. You can see the quick add, which is this little plus icon, and you can see the 3 dots as well. I'm going to start with the 3 dots for today's session. So for those that haven't actually downloaded the app before or used the app, you can see multiple things. So you can do 90% of your daily tasks as a real estate agent in the app. So to kick off, we're able to see our leads. If you do have leads capture, you can see your targets as well in the app. But I want everybody to look at the settings. Clicking down on settings, and if you are following along, I'm happy for you to do so. Clicking down on settings, we've got caller ID. I'm going to click on caller ID. What caller ID allows me to do is I'm able to see contacts that are calling me directly that might not necessarily be saved in my contacts in my phone, but I've got their contact in Agentbox. If they call me, I can see their caller ID. This is helpful as well when you're doing open home follow-up. If you're calling multiple clients that you met on the weekend, you don't have them saved in your phone as a contact, but they are in Agentbox. So you are able to see those contacts. If they miss your call and they call you back, you can actually see who is calling you as well. And it makes it a warmer phone call by saying, hello, this is John. Saying hi, John, instead of saying, hello, this is John speaking. It makes it a better phone call as well. To turn this on though, if you're an Apple user, if you've got an iPhone, you need to get out of Agentbox app, go to your iPhone settings, go scroll down to the phone icon. So just the green phone icon. Click on the green phone icon. Once you're in there, scroll down to where it says call blocking and identification and enable Agentbox. Once you've done that, come back to the app and just click over here where it says enable caller ID. If you're an Android user, tap here and request the permission. With Android users, I'm pretty sure it pulls up another screen and then it just gives you that permission similar to what the Apple does. It requests that permission for you to enable it, and then you can turn it on. So moving forward, if a contact does call you, you've got the app now connected to your phone, their contact details will come up on screen. So that's the caller ID. Going back, I've also got notifications here. Inspection check-ins and inspection reminders. Inspection check-ins, so if you're assigned to a property and a contact attends that property, you will get a notification every time somebody attends a property. So if you're a listing agent and one of your associates is working in an open home with you, it might be an apartment block, your associate will be downstairs, you'll be upstairs. Every time the associate signs someone into the open home, you'll get a notification, John's just signed in, Bob's just signed in, all different people that have signed in, you'll get that notification. You also have inspection reminders. This will remind you half an hour before the actual open for inspection or inspection kicks off, that it reminds you that you've got an inspection there. I also make note to this, guys, if you do go on holiday and you have staff members that are going to run your open homes for you, I do suggest just turning this off while you're on holiday. I had a situation during Christmas, somebody was getting a lot of notifications because their team was running their open homes for them. So that's our inspection check-ins. Going back, last thing on this screen is the help and support. Similar to like the desktop, you can report a problem, share some feedback, and it'll go straight to support from here. So that's our 3 dots. Now I want to jump to the little home icon down here on the bottom left side of the screen. Clicking on that, this is the reminders. We're able to see our tasks as well as our events, any upcoming events that we have and our tasks. I'm going to go to tasks first, and we want to action a task. So we want to do some follow-up. I know a lot of you do tasks in the desktop. A lot of the clients that I've trained, and I know a few of you on screen today, I've showed you how to do the tasks before in the app. Doing the task in the app is so much helpful, especially when you're prospecting and doing vendor calls. It's very helpful. So we're going to run through and do some tasks together. Before we do so, you're able to see all your tasks, today's task, tomorrow's task, and any upcoming task. This little filter icon in the top left of the screen, if you click that icon, you're able to filter down. So I want to filter down to my today and my task that I have scheduled today. Once I apply that filter, only the tasks I've got tagged for today will show up on screen. So today I've got 6 tasks and all 6 of them are on screen today. So I've got a market appraisal confirming, requesting Michael Jordan, calling him, saying if he'd like a market appraisal on his property. I've got an appraisal set for today, just a reminder call to confirm that appraisal, confirm balance of 10% due tomorrow. Any forms of tasks that you have here, I've got Ned Kelly, send a 1-year letter. You can have multiple type of tasks, anniversary tasks. They will all pop up on screen. What we're going to do is we're just going to action one together. So I'm going to click on this task. All you do is just click on the task itself. As you can see, we've got the contact's details here. So we're able to call the contact, SMS the contact, or email the contact. We're going to call Michael. So we're going to call him to see if he would like an update on his property at 23 Bull Street. Clicking the phone icon, clicking call. As you can see, it's now jumped into my phone. So once it's in the phone screen, we just connect and we can just have it as called. If we've actually spoken to him, we click on connected. If we left him a voicemail, weren't able to get through, we leave it as a voicemail. And if we tried to call, couldn't get through, we just put no answer and didn't put a voicemail. But if I click connect, it just gives me the option to put a headline in there. And I can just put whatever we spoke about. Wants to wait a few months, whatever it is, we can update that task as well. So as you can see here, it's just related to the contact. There's no related properties, but I can assign a related property to it. If I add follow-up, I can add another task on top of this task to follow them up moving forward. Once I do that, I just put save and I can move forward from there. Coming back to the actual task. So let's pretend we tried to call Michael and we never actually got through to him. So what I want to do is I want to now postpone this particular task for a future date. So I don't want the task to go. I still want to be able to action it because I still want to speak to him. I go up here where it says snooze. I click on the snooze icon and it gives me the option to postpone the task until tomorrow, until next week, 2 weeks time, or I can customize a date where I can postpone that task as well. Once I save that, the task will no longer be my task for today. It will be moved to a future date. Another option we do have is these 3 dots in the top right corner. If I click those 3 dots, it gives me the delete or edit option. So I can delete the task, or if I click on edit, I can actually update the task itself. So I can update what it says, the due date again, the related contact. You can see that it's got that related property to it. So it's 23 Bull Street, Parramatta. And you can see that it's assigned to me. If I wanted to reassign this task to a colleague, I actually can. I have the power to go in there and reassign this particular task to one of my colleagues. So I can click on my name. I can remove myself from the task, or I can keep myself on the task. I can tag my colleague and apply. If I remove myself and apply, that task automatically will not be in my task list. If I keep myself there, and I add Dwayne to it, it's going to show up in my task list as well as Dwayne's task list. So I've just added him and I'm going to save it. Now I'm back to this screen. Very important, because we didn't actually complete the task. So we called the client, we weren't able to get through, we've postponed or we've reassigned the task to a colleague to complete that task on our behalf. We don't touch the mark complete. We come here and we click back. Once we click back, that task will no longer be in our task. It will either move to a future date or will now show up in our colleagues' tasks for that day. So that's how we action our tasks, and all the tasks are the same. Click on the task, call the client, and you can update and add notes as you wish in the tasks. So that's the reminder side for the tasks. I now want to jump across and look at our events. So my day today, I'm pretty sure I've got an appraisal. Yep. So I've got an appraisal scheduled for 5:30. Remember, we had a task in there to call that appraisal and confirm it. I've got that appraisal scheduled for 5:30. I also have an appointment to set a reserve with the client for the auction this weekend. And then you can see all my upcoming open homes that I've got scheduled. All the open homes are scheduled for this Saturday. You can see the time that the open home starts. And you can see this little key icon on each open home. Each property has a key icon. What this key icon represents, when you're actually in the desktop and you're creating the listing, you have the option of adding a key icon. The key icon is what the key is for the property, sorry, the key for the property in on the board in our office. So if you have a keyboard in your office, this would be the key. So come Saturday, I know I've got 4 open homes back to back. I go down to the key room, I sign out all the keys, all the relevant keys that I need, and I go on my way for that Saturday. So you do have that option here. Another thing I want to run you guys quickly through is how we can see a listing in here. So clicking over here, view the listing. The listing in the app is actually really cool. So obviously we do need to be able to see the listing, especially if one of our colleagues covers an open for us. They can actually click on the listing, go in there and see all the information on the listing. Sorry. So as we scroll down, we can see the photos, we can see the actual price guide of the property, the description, so the full property description, any lease potential, if it's got any potential leasing, when the auction is, the auction date and the time of the auction, any upcoming inspections currently scheduled, all the relevant rates that are tagged to the property. Again, this is all coming from what we've put in the desktop. Whatever you put in the desktop will feed through to the app as well. So it does sync back and forth. Scrolling down, the agents. So the 2 agents that we've got tagged against the property, the relevant agents are in there as the listing agents, as well as all the contacts I've tagged against the property when I made it live. The map where the property is located, the internal information. So this is also very important, especially if you've got colleagues that are going to run the open home on your behalf. If they've never run it before, or if you're sick and this is last minute, they need to go in there, cover it for you. They're able to go look at the internal information. They can see that there is an alarm code, close the blinds, turn off the pool lights, shoes off upstairs, and of course the key number to the property on the board in the office. And of course, all the relevant links. So we've got a video link that we've attached to the property when we made it live. We've got the agency agreement in there. We've got the property contract. We've got a building and pest report. We've got the CMA that we created when we appraised the property. And then I've got a realestate.com in there as well, a realestate.com weekly update that's in there as well. Of course, as you know, you can make these private, so only the contract and the building and pest report can be sent out to the actual contacts that inquire. So that's the details of this thing. We're able to see the contacts, so all the relevant contacts. I'm able to see my vendor solicitor, my auctioneer, my vendor. If I do need to contact them for whatever reason, I come to the 3 dots assigned next to that contact, click those 3 dots, and I can make a call. I can send them an SMS if you've got SMS credits, and I can send them an email. I can add a note and add a task against those contacts. Next, we've got the buyer match. Wait for it to load. The buyer match are all the contacts in my database that fit the buying criteria of this particular listing. So I've got 74 contacts in my database that fit the buying criteria of this listing. No activity means out of those 74, 57 have not viewed or inquired on this particular property. So 74 in total fit the buying criteria, but 57 haven't actually viewed or inquired on this property. Which means if I have a very quiet open for inspection, if I'm struggling to get any movement on this property, I can actually come into the app and bulk communicate to all these contacts. If there's not that many in there, you can actually just click the 3 dots and call them if you wanted to. That's what I personally would do. But you do have the option to bulk communicate to them via an SMS or an email as well. So you can send them an email and just great news, we've got a property that's on the market that currently fits your buying criteria. So activity is obviously what we see when we run an open home. And then you can obviously go in and update the client's activity. The last thing I want to show you in a listing though, is this little pen and paper icon in the top corner. If I click on this icon, I'm able to edit. This is the only edit I can do to a listing in the app. So this is very important. If one of your vendor calls you and we've spelled something wrong, we need to update something, we can come in here, can update the main headline. So we can update the main headline. We can update the property description, the back-end search price. So the back-end search price that is on real estate and domain, the display price, and the main image. So you can change the main image. That's what we can update in the app. I do want to make it known though, if you do make any updates, keep in mind this is live. So whatever we update here will shoot out to all the portals, realestate.com, Domain, all the relevant portals that we've ticked when we made this property live, we'll get this update as well. Sorry, guys. So that's our listing. It's good to go. We've updated that listing. So coming back here, that's our events, that's our task, and that's our reminders. Next, we're going to go to this little magnifying glass. This magnifying glass is our search field. This works exactly like the desktop. The way in the desktop, you can search all your contacts, your listings, your appraisals, your properties, your projects. You can search everything here in the app as well. So like I mentioned, a lot of agents use the app to do 90% of their work because they can do most of their work here. So in today's scenario, part of the actual prospecting and how we want to prospect, we're going to run a scenario where I had a very good auction on the weekend, and I now want to reach out to all the contacts I have in my database that are close to that property or in the same street and close to that property and let them know the great result that I achieved. So coming to properties, I'm going to search the property address. So, well, sorry, the street address that the property was sold in, and that was Alfred Street in Granville. Wait for it to load. And as you can see, I've got 29 contacts, prospective owners in that street in my database. I can actually reach out to all of them by calling these contacts, clicking on these contacts. Great news, just in case you didn't know, I had a great sale on the weekend, sold a property similar to yours, sold for X amount. We had 80 groups through during the whole campaign, 79 are still looking to buy. Let me know if you have any interest. And you can always go through that list. So what we're going to do today is LeBron James. We actually spoke to LeBron James 2 months ago. He actually was interested to know how much his property was worth, but he wasn't ready at that stage. We want to go and door knock that street and door knock around that property that we sold. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to call LeBron. We're going to let him know, great news, LeBron. We're actually going to be in your street this afternoon, door knocking, letting everybody know the great result we achieved. Would you like us to come by and give you an update on your property? So to call him, just click on LeBron's name, and then we're able to click the call icon and then call him. Once we've spoken to him, we then come back to the actual property. It's currently in there as a prospect property. I want to now change it to an appraisal to actually run the appraisal this afternoon. I click on the property itself and this little pen and paper icon in the top right corner. I'm going to click that. And then you can see the change status. I now have the power to change the status from just a prospect property straight away to an appraisal. So I'm going to click change status. It says prospect. I'm clicking on appraisal. Once it does that, it brings me here. So it's a for sale property. I'm going to run the appraisal today. Let's just say we're going to run the appraisal today at 3 p.m. So we're going to go spend a little bit of the time door knocking, and then we'll go there and then we'll pretty much start the appraisal. Source, it was pretty much prospecting call. And then we can put any other comments that we want to attach to the appraisal, but we're not going to put anything at this stage, and we're just going to go save. So right now, that's now moved from a prospect property to an appraisal. Because the appraisal is set for today or a future day, it's now over here in my home screen. So if I go back into my home screen, I'm able to see it, which is what we're going to do. And we're going to action an appraisal walkthrough. So that's what we're going to do with LeBron. But before we do that, we're going to pretend that we're still going to go around. We're going to door knock the street. We want to let everybody know what we've done. So when I called LeBron, I was in the office. I've now driven to the street. I'm in the street. Before I do door knocking, I want to know surrounding me, not just that street, Alpha Street. I want to know surrounding me how many prospect properties I have. To do so, I'm clicking this little filter icon on the top left. See how it says near me? Whatever I click on, it will give me a radius of all the prospect properties around me. So obviously your phone is a live phone. It will give you a prospect of all the properties around you. So I'm going to click 1K, apply filter. The list that's going to pop up here, this list is all the properties I have, prospect properties I have in my database that are within 1 kilometer of me right now. So I have a list, but see this little pin icon here, this little green pin icon? If I click that pin icon, it shows you where I am, this little green button where I am. And if I zoom in, obviously zooming in on the phone's a lot easier than doing it with this little thing that I have here. But zooming in, all the little black dots are all the properties that are close to me that are prospect properties. And then I can just click those black dots. Just click on it. And it brings up the actual property address and the contact. Again, give the contact a call if I need to and advise them on the great result that we did. So that's our little search icon. It is very helpful. Again, guys, you can search literally everything you can search in your desktop, all the information about contacts, properties, even your appraisals that you've done, everything that you can search in the desktop, you can come in here and search it in the app as well. Next, so we're door knocking. We're going around. We're meeting everyone. We made a contact. So we just door knock. We meet somebody. We let them know what we sold the property for. They're like, oh, yeah, I heard about it. I saw you, the sold sticker. I saw that you guys got a good result. I would like you to go keep me up to date with properties coming live. So keep me up to date with the market. Let me know how the market's traveling. Perfect. The good thing about the app, this little plus icon is one of the coolest things. It's designed for a real estate agent. You're able to make a call. You can book an open for inspection. You can log a task, log an inquiry, add a contact, which is what I'm about to do, book a private inspection, add a property. We'll do that as well. Log an appraisal. So create an appraisal and then add a note. What we're going to do is we're going to go to a contacts. So we've just met a contact today. The contact's name is Robert. We want to add his surname in there as well. So Robert Cameron. Best contact number that we've got for Robert. We're just going to throw that in there. I also do suggest guys search in the search field first before you add a contact in there, but we're just going to pretend Robert, we just met him today. He's not in the database, never met him before. And that's why we're adding him in there. But always, especially if you're door knocking, make sure you just search the contact. Oh, awesome. Yeah. Have we met you before? And then go in that little search field and search. Always want to grab a contact's email address as well. And then we're going to save. So we've just added Robert into the database as a contact. We also know that the property we've just door knocked is where he lives and he actually owns that property. So we want to attach it to our database as a prospect property for future so we can still door knock and meet him. Sorry, so we can still market him in the future. And now we've attached a new prospect property. So if he ever considers selling, we'll give ourselves an opportunity to get through the door and at least appraise and present to him to give ourselves a shot to secure that listing. So we're going to click on the plus icon again, and we're going to go to the property now. So we're going to add his property. So the property address is 285. It's in the same street that we just sold. It's in the same suburb. Scrolling down, property type. It's a residential. Here's a house. Done. Related contacts. This is now where we add the contact. So we've added the contact. You have the option to add it as a new contact, but because he's already in my system, I'm just going to put his phone number because I know he's already in my system. I've already added him in there. 000, wait for it to load. There he is. No, wrong contact. Took it a while to load. Got a lot of Roberts in there. There we go. Okay. And because we know Robert owns the property, automatically we're setting him up as an owner occupier. He owns the property and he lives in the property. Apply. So that's good to go. And then we can save and view the property, but we're going to save and close that property. So we just added the new property. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to properties. I'm going to clear all filters. I'm going to put Alfred Street again. Wait for it to load. This is obviously faster on your phone because your phone will be faster. So before we had 29 properties, we now have 30. Scroll down. Find Robert. And there he is. So Robert's in there and we've got him set up, good to go. So Robert's now in our system, added as a new contact, and we're able to mark it and move forward from there. So it's now time to run that appraisal. So we've done our door knocking. It's now time to go to LeBron's house and do the appraisal with him. So I'm going to that little home icon. I'm going to, in my events, and I'm just going to refresh. And the appraisal should pop up now. And there it is. That's the appraisal that we've set up for LeBron. If you create an appraisal in the desktop as well, it will show up here in your events in the app, especially for that day or for a future date, it will show up. So we're going to click on the appraisal. And the second thing, start appraisal walkthrough. An appraisal walkthrough is pretty much what we've done on paper, pen and paper, going through the property, taking notes, and then coming back to the office and adding go. The benefit of doing it here is whatever we put here will jump through to the desktop, and we'll have a look at that once we finish. So I'm going to start the appraisal walkthrough. Clicking on the appraisal walkthrough, I've got all the relevant details confirming everything's good to go. I start. As we're going through, we just let LeBron know. We're just going to take some notes if that's okay, and then we go through. So as we're walking through, it's a 4-bedroom home, 2-bathroom, double lock-up garage. Next, building area, land area. That's not really relevant right now for our appraisal, but we can see that the lounge, there's a lounge room, there is a study, and there's 3 toilets because there's a toilet in the laundry. Features, again, you would use the features to also have a conversation. So just tell me a little bit about the property. I can see that you've got air conditioning, you've got an alarm system. We are close to schools, close to shops. You do have an ensuite. All that, you do have high clearance. There is an intercom. So you use these features to actually have a conversation during the appraisal as well. The building information down here, coming down to the building information, you've got the year it was built and the year it was renovated. So if you're speaking to the contact and LeBron says, I actually built this property myself in 2018, you go in there, you select year it was built, and you put 2018, next. What is the motivation? So why is the client, what is their motivation for the appraisal? So it might be a divorce, it might be a deceased estate, they might be just an update, whatever it is. In LeBron's case, we know he just wants an update on his property. Wants an update at this stage. So just wants an update. Price range. So based on comparable sales, and especially based on the property we sold on Saturday, I believe the property is worth, and then we'll throw that in there, 1.5. Wait for that to load to 1.6. So that's the price range. Based on comparable sales, style of the property, the features, that's what we think it's worth. With the appraisal price and the gross commission, this is what pulls across to our pipeline in the value and as well as the GCI. So I'm going to put the bottom end of the range. We're going to be conservative. So we do believe we can sell it for 1,500,000. And in the gross commissions part, we have the option to put a percentage. We can put a set fee, or we can put a custom range. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a custom range. I'm going to charge him 2.2% up to 1,500,000. And then 3% for anything I get him above 1,500,000. Inclusive of GST, then we go next. Sales method, I'm an auctioneer. I love auctions, but you guys can choose whatever you like. So you got expression of interest, tenders, private treaty, whatever method of sale you would have discussed with the contact if they did decide on selling, you would put it here. But considering we are here because we had a really good auction on the weekend, I'm just going to put auction. Classification. So going off classification is what the interest level from the contact. So we're there, we spend a little bit of time on with the client. Cold is just wants an update on their property, not looking to do anything. Warm, potentially selling, hasn't made a decision yet. And hot, definitely selling. So the classifications we tag that client with. So at this stage for LeBron, he's just cold. And then comments. These are our appraisal comments. These will pull across to the desktop and we're able to work those comments. So needs to renovate bathroom before considering selling. And then finish. Over here, we've got the buyer match, and we can also add a follow-up task. The buyer match is actually really cool. So you guys would have experienced this during your time in real estate where you're going through a property, you're appraising it, and then the owner says, oh, the agent down the road actually came through and said they've got buyers for my property. That's awesome. We do too. As you can see on screen, as you can see here, I've got 71 contacts in my database that fit the buying criteria of your property. 71 contacts in my database that fit the buying criteria. I can show you those buyers here. If I was to list your property on the market and get your property live on the market for sale, I would notify all these contacts that your property is live on the market. They will get an email alert, as long as we obviously have their email address. They will get alerted that we've got our property on the market that fits their criteria, and hopefully get those contacts through your property. And then you can just do a little follow-up, add a task, and finish the appraisal. It's also important to note, guys, you can come back, start appraisal walkthrough, start it, and then go through and update anything you need to. So after you've done the appraisal, if you're in the car and you're like, oh, I need to update this, change this, you can. So it's not something you do and then it expires. You can actually go in there and update it, go in, go back and forth and update anything you need to update if you need to do so. Okay, we've just finished the appraisal walkthrough in the app. We're now going to jump through and I'm going to show you how it looks in the desktop. So how everything we've done has pulled across to our desktop. So I'm going to my pipeline first. As you can see, I've got 23 appraisals right now here in the purple. You can see the value is 4.2 million potential value. And the GCI I've got here is 989. That's not including the figures from this property. Once I refresh the pipeline, wait for it to load. Okay, so that's gone up here, hasn't gone up here yet. Might just refresh the whole screen actually. Okay, as you can see now, it's gone up from 23 to 24. The value has gone up because now we've got that 1.5 has put across and our potential commission has come across here. So that's where the value and GCI come across here. If I click on the open appraisal, I can go to the last updated, which is LeBron's property, 300 Alfred Street. Click on that property, go to appraisal, and literally everything we did in the app right now in the appraisal walkthrough has pulled across here. So as we're scrolling down, we can see what we priced it at, potential appraisal price, selling price. Want an update, that's why we're there. I chose auction, gross commission. So potential gross commission is customized. Again, you can change this. You can update this if you wish to do so, but I've got it at 2.2% up to 1,500,000 and 3% for the balance. Scrolling down, bedrooms, bathrooms, lounge rooms, all that stuff put across. When he renovated the property, all the property features, and then needs to renovate bathroom before considering selling. So everything we've just done in the app, in the appraisal walkthrough, has pulled across here and has come across to the actual, to the desktop as well. So it's very important to note, that's how it pulls across. It comes across to the desktop and it works from there. All right, guys. So from this training session, we sort of want to create a post-sale prospect checklist. Now that you know that the features are in there, you're able to go in there. You can focus on a street of success. We just sold a property for a great price over the weekend. We want to go in there, speak to all the owners of those properties, update them, and just work those buyers, use those buyers. You would have met a fair few buyers, use those buyers to your advantage. Because those clients are already in your system, you're able to build those relationships with them. Similar to LeBron. We called him, we know he's in our system, gave him a buzz, gave him the heads up, came through, ran an appraisal with him. If he's selling in the future, most likely he would reach out to us, but we will also stay in contact with him. We'll create those tasks to stay top of mind and stay in contact with him. And you can grow your network. You can go out there, you can pin around you, you can see who's in your database, who's not in your database. Go around, door knock. You've got a reason to door knock. You've just sold a property for a great price. Build those relationships. And as you saw, we added Robert into the system. We added Robert's property as a prospect property. That's another potential selling client in the future. He might not sell now, but if he does sell, we want to market to him and we want to be those agents that he does sell with. So just a recap, we had looked at an introduction and setup of the app. We looked at managing tasks on the app, and as well as using the app to be able to prospect and follow up all our contacts and work against our properties. One more poll, guys, as well. So I'm going to throw in another poll. So poll should be coming up on your screen now. So just a post webinar. Just want to know what has stood out for you guys today from this webinar. And I am one of the trainers at Agentbox. I am an ex-real estate agent. I run my training from the point of view of a real estate agent. We've got a lot of trainers here that we do work with. If you guys do want more training for your team, or if you just want an update, let us know down there. And we're happy to reach out and try to organize more training with your team. So I'll give you guys about 60 seconds to answer that, and then I'll end the poll. I am going to keep this webinar going for another 5 minutes. So if you guys have your questions in there, Eddie's on screen. Eduardo is there answering them. Alex is there answering your questions, and I'll stick around and answer some questions as well. I'll just give you guys some time to put in your polls. Those that are saying yes, please, we'll reach out to you in the next few days. So once we do have a bit of breathing space, we'll reach out to you and we'll discuss training. So I know a few people are saying yes. So happy to reach out and we'll organize training for your team. All right, guys. I'm going to end the poll and share the results. All right, that's awesome. Yep. App setup and function, which is good. Prospecting via the search page, like that. Appraisal walkthrough. If you found that helpful, love it, guys. Glad you enjoyed it. You enjoyed this webinar. And we do have a few people, 32% do want us to reach out for training, and happy to do so as well. We do have a few more webinars coming up until the end of the year, so make sure you stay on top of the webinars. You can see your webinars in the question mark in the bottom right corner of your screen on your desktop. So register to all those webinars because we do have some really good webinars coming up. Okay. All right, guys. We'll stay on for another few minutes, try to answer everybody's questions. Yes, Deval, I saw you. No problem. We'll give you a call. We'll reach out for training. No problem at all. That does conclude the webinar, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Happy to answer them. Amelia, how to access the map? Yep. Okay. I'll come back to, so Amelia, as you can see on screen, you can see the app again. What I did was I went down here to this little magnifying glass, which is the search icon. I went to property, and to see the map surrounding me, once I'm in property, I go to this little filter icon, top left, click that filter icon. I can choose the radius. So I'm just going to go 1K, apply that filter. What this does, Amelia, it gives me the list of all the properties that are within 1K, but see this little pin icon here? It looks like the Google Maps icon. You click that icon and it will pin you down to where you are. Trick, yeah, this is Sydney time. So 2 p.m. would have been Sydney time. Depending where you are, when you click the registration, it will actually come up to your local time zone. So it'll tell you exactly when it comes up. Yes, G, max is 5 kilometers. So it's 5 kilometers from where your phone, from where you're standing. It is that 5 kilometer radius. Everyone, if somebody calls in for an inquiry, would Agentbox connect it, or we need an invite ourselves? Not sure what you mean by that. So if somebody calls in for an inquiry, if they're calling in for an inquiry, they're most likely You mean inquiries, so they're inquiring via real estate or common domain, or do you actually mean they pick up the phone? If they're calling you, you would have to add them in there yourself if they inquire. But if you are actually speaking to them on the phone, you add them in. If they're inquiring on real estate or domain, it will automatically go through as an inquiry. So they'll automatically go into your database from there. That's different. Trick, there will be a recording of this, so you can get a recording. The recording, I think, would be up in our webinars. So again, go to that little question mark bottom right corner of the screen, go to the help from memory, and then you can go straight into where the webinars are. And then you can add it from there. If you guys do want to log in inquiry, so if somebody actually calls you and you're using the app, you're out and about. So somebody calls you, they see your head on the sign, they want an update, or say it's an auction property, they want a price guide, you can actually log the inquiry to that property. So you go to the little plus icon, inquiry, you select the relevant listing. Once you've selected the listing, so I'm just going to choose 58 Smith Avenue just for the sake of this. You add that contact, so via mobile. If they're already in the system, they'll come up straight away. So if they're already in the system, their details will come up straight away, and you just click them. If they're not in the system, you just add them there, and then you can log that inquiry. Amanda, how do you set up so that inquiries auto go to login? So if you've got leads capture, the leads will automatically log into. So any inquiries that come through will automatically go into your Agentbox. If you've got lead capture turned on, it will push through straight away into your Agentbox. All right, guys, we'll give it another 60 seconds and then we're just going to close off. Like I mentioned before, this recording is going to be available as well. So this recording will be available. Give it about 24 hours and then we'll have it up and running for you guys. Thanks everyone for attending. I hope you got a lot out of this session. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Adrian. Yeah, Yvonne, if somebody calls in and you've got the caller ID, you will see their name on screen. Correct. You're welcome, Deval. Thank you. Thank you, Hina. You're welcome, Yvonne. No problem. All right, guys, we are going to end the webinar now. Thank you. Have a great afternoon. Talk to you soon.